All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We've got a good little group. Um, Usually we've got a little group on here, and then there's some people that can't join us, so they watch the recording on a later date. Jimena, thank you for joining us tonight. I'll do a quick intro, but I'll let you get into a little more about yourself. I think many of you probably know Jimena from Winding Trails. I think that's where most of us met her. And now she's moved on to some different job things that she can tell us about. But now we work together at the bike shop, which is super exciting. It was like a nice treat when I walked in a few Mondays ago. I was like, wait a minute, this is awesome. So Jimena, I'll let you tell a little more about, what you're doing now and kind of like your background in cycling.
Yeah, well, hi everybody, and awesome to be here. Thank you so much, Hunter, for having me and for inviting me to your page, which is super cool. The page, all the women that you have involved in different aspects of the sport, which is awesome. So you asked me, and sorry, what did you ask me?
So just to tell us kind of what you're doing now for work, and then a little bit about how you got into cycling, and we can kind of take things from there with the cycling.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, like Hunter mentioned, I was working at Winding Trails doing a variety of different things, one of which race director for the triathlon. That's how I think how we met. And so I did that for a few years, like 5 years, 5 or 6 years. And then I needed a little change. So I started exploring other things. I work currently, I have 2 different jobs. One is at the Trek store in Newington, the same place where Hunter works. I just do a part-time job there. I love it. I love being around people. I love being around bikes and getting people into the sport. I enjoy that the most. And then my other job, part-time job, is in Killington in Vermont, where I teach people how to ride mountain bikes, going down the hill mostly. The next part of the question is how I got into mountain biking. So most of you might not know that I am from Argentina, and over there, I grew up in Buenos Aires. It's a big city. It's not much really real mountain biking there, but that's how I got into mountain biking, believe it or not. They had little races in the parks or in any place that had dirt. They had mountain biking. And once I was offered to enter a race, they loaned me a bike. I said, sure, I try it. And one thing led to another, and the shop that offered the bike for me to use started sponsoring me, and then they sent me to different races, and little by little, next thing I knew, I was racing international races in South America, mostly in the South America region, and but that was super quick. And then that was in 94, and then in 95, Pan Am Games were in Argentina, and that was my very first experience of real national team and being on an Olympic Committee event, which is Pan Am Games is the Olympics of the Americas, from Canada to Argentina. So, and that was my very first experience with the national team racing as a group with all the disciplines of cycling and all the different sports that are in the Olympics. So that was really cool. Well, I don't know if you want me to stop there or you want me to continue. So I don't know if I answer your question more or less.
No, definitely. I would love, probably most of us would love to know a little more what it's like to compete in a Pan Am Games and how that goes, what the courses are like. Same thing with the Olympics. I'm sure there's some similarities there, but for all of us who haven't experienced that.
Yeah. So to get to a Pan Am Games or to the Olympics, obviously you have to do some of the races that will make you gain points to qualify. Obviously, you have to be representing your country. And believe it or not, usually up until I retire, now might be a little bit different, but the courses were not really the most exciting courses. they were kind of, I don't call it lame courses, because I don't know if that's a nice way of calling it. Somebody probably put a lot of work to put them, but because of the games, the Pan Am Games in this case had to all happen within a region. They're limited on what they can do. Now they have a lot more creativity, and they have course designers, and they come and do awesome courses. But back then, it wasn't the case. So we were just racing in anything that looked a little bit of a single track, and some courses were super flat because it was in a city that didn't have mountains. Or some courses, they were a little bit more real mountain biking. But Pan Am Games had always been the excitement about what I mentioned before, being in the Olympic Village, or Pan American Village, I should say, with all the athletes of different countries and different sports. That was the richest part that I can take as a personal experience. And, you know, going to the cafeteria and entering, and then you see gymnasts from Japan, or, you know, any other sport that you can think of from the other end of the world. And that was, to me, that was the coolest part.
I've listened to a few podcasts when like the Olympics happened, and everyone said that. And then they said they were playing a game in the cafeteria, guessing what sport the person played.
Yeah, and sometimes you can tell by, you know, their physique, how they're built, and sometimes you can guess it pretty easy, sometimes you can't, but it's pretty cool. And I remember this one time this was in Athens, and there is a basketball player from China, super, super, super tall, obviously basketball player, but Yao Ming, did I say his name right? So he enters the door, and he had to go under the doorway to not hit it. I mean, things like that they are just moments, right? It's not that I interacted at all with him, but watching him and having to do that to enter the building, you know, those are things that you don't forget.
Yeah, for sure. Are there still like teammates that you keep in contact with at all?
Oh yeah, totally. There is a lot of ladies that we keep in touch through Facebook and or Instagram. Katerina Nash, I was just talking to her the other day, or I saw this past weekend Leah Davidson. Although we have never been teammates per se in the same team, but we race the same circuit. So we traveled to the same events. So we were, you know, seeing each other with a lot of these ladies every single weekend. So because we went to races days before the event, we got to know each other really well, even if in different teams, to train together or go dinner together, hang out. It's nothing to do other than the race, so we kind of hang out together.
Yeah, that's cool. Kat Nash is a big name. I didn't realize you rode with her.
Yeah, Katerina Nash is one of the last teammates that I kept, last team members, friends from the last teams that I raced for, the Luna team, and that we kept in touch the most.
That's awesome.
Super
Does
cool.
anyone else have questions?
Feel free.
I said, does anyone else have questions about the Olympics? Feel free to chime in.
Took me forever to figure out where my mute button was. Hi, Jimena.
Hi, Michelle.
I would love to hear a little bit about like what training was like. You know, like when you were like, I guess what type of training kind of led you up until you're able to qualify, and then like once you qualified, and what training looked like going into the Olympics.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, basically, when you are in an Olympic sport, and at the elite level, most athletes will have a 4-year training period, if you want to call it that way. So you have a build up towards every 4 years. So to peak every 4 years. So sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. You know, that's a little bit of the guessing game. Sometimes things, you know, you had to change things along the way, but basically it's a buildup of volume. So a year of training, let's talk about the 12 months. The season will start March through September. So October and November, they were the off season, and then you start getting the buildup, doing a little bit of weights, a little bit of running, just because you couldn't sit still, right? The coach is telling me, you need to stop training to recover. And but he knew I couldn't sit still. So he allowed me to go training or go trail running, to go running or trail running. So, but that was not with any intention of fitness per se, but mental. And so once that was over, already in December, end of November and December, we will start with very long rides, some weights, upper body and legs as well, but build up the endurance with longer rides and lots of climbing. These will be build up of 3-4 weeks and then rest, 3-4 weeks and then rest. And this one will be between up to 40 hours a week. That will be one of a big week. So those 40 hours a week will be, I don't know, every 2 months. So it wasn't really every top of a build-up will be that number, right? That is a lot. It takes a lot to recover, which it's part of the equation, right? You have to, it's a fine balance between what is too much, and then you need to recover in order to absorb and let your body adjust to that stress of the work. So yeah, so, and then in January, we will start, continue to work on with the volume, but then we will start a 12-week program that I did all on the trainer. This is, believe it or not, is all my quality work for mountain biking was on the trainer in the winter. So January through March, 2 to 3 times a week, I will do all my interval work, leg speed, neuromuscular, everything that you can think is that element of fitness, it will be included there. Obviously, as a build-up, right? You don't start with the hardest, but with the higher intensity towards March, which is closer to the beginning of the season. So when intensity went high, volume went a little bit lower, and then you find that balance, allowing to recover. And then, yes, when the weather got nicer, although I lived in San Diego, so I could do riding outside all the time. But when the weather got nicer and it wasn't so cold, I will start doing more specific intervals on my mountain bike outside. So then they say the season started, and once that the season starts, it's a game of not doing too much, preparing and resting well for your A races. You have A, B, C category of races. The A are the ones that you will rest really well, and then the B, well, you kind of play by ear, and the C, you are training through it. You go to those races tired, and so yeah, that's really what preparation looked like. And then everything in between. Sometimes I would feel that I need a reminder, my body needs a reminder of certain aspect of my fitness, for example, strength. So I would do a little focus on strength mid-season as a reminder for the body, but not super deep tissue. And then, because that would take too long to recover. So things like that, call them, you know, depending on how it was feeling during the season, adjust in those terms.
I have a question about your indoor winter training.
Yeah.
what programs do you use? You use a smart trainer? Do you use Zwift? What other sorts of things do you use to?
Okay,
train?
yeah. So there is two answers to that question, because when I was racing, when I was training, we didn't have Swift and we didn't have smart trainers. So this was all done with the regular turbo trainer. I think we used to use the fan trainer, that it was the one that felt the closest to our road ride feel, and elevate the front end, put a fan in it, and then follow minute by minute cadence. And we didn't even have power. So it was cadence.
Wow.
And keep
That's
track
amazing.
the gears, what gears I will do in certain exercises, and heart rate. Those
Wow.
were my parameters that I would guide my workout. And all those workouts were between an hour and 2.5 hours, with a specific cadence and gear every minute.
Would it be on a mountain bike or road bike?
It will be on a road bike. 70% of my training, although I raced mountain bikes, 70% of my training was on road bikes, either on the trainer or on the road.
Okay.
Training, doing the volume on the mountain bike. The mountain bike, what it has when you are riding off-road, all the vibration brings up a level of stress to your body that if you do not allow it to recover, you get to a place where it's like you're overtrained or overstressed, more than overtrained. Very hard to get out of there. So you produce a lot of the, I'm not sure the exact term, but acid is not acid, lactate acid, but it's some acids in your body that would not be easy to recover from. So mountain biking, if you train on a mountain bike on the dirt every single day, you will end up detraining. Very hard to get volume, good quality volume for endurance on a mountain bike.
Interesting. Thank you.
And as far as what program I used, it was written by my coach. My coach was Arnie Baker. He is in San Diego. In fact, I'm going to visit him on Sunday. I'm traveling to San Diego to visit him. I haven't seen him in a few years, but he has written a few books. I probably have some of them in here but some of his books have a lot of all these programs, and now people have Swift and all those apps is way easier. But if you do not have a smart trainer and you're not interested in Swift, I can tell you where to find those workouts. His book is probably in Amazon. It's Arnie Baker, Smart Cycling, or I can't remember, HIIT, high intensity training. So he has all kinds of programs there, minute by minute, written minute by minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, I find that for intervals and stuff, I feel like I do such a better job on the trainer than on the road. Like it's hard to find like a flat road, a straight road, a long enough road, not have to make any turns. It's just like, and I feel the same way, like open water swimming versus pool swimming. I feel like I'm not productive at all in the open water. Like I like to go into it to get used to it or do some like choppy water, but I feel like I can't hit a number to save my life. I'm like, I need to be put back in the pool or on the trainer.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have weather, that could be affecting. A dog just decided to go across in front of you, or a ball camp. It's all kinds of things, distractions and dangers, cars, lights, stop signs, all those things get in the way of training. Don't they know that we need to train?
It's when like you finally find a loop at home that like you kind of feel comfortable with, and then like I pets it all the time, and you go somewhere else and like I don't even know where to start. I just need a flat straight road.
Well, it's that time now, I'm starting to think about that. I know we're just only in fall, but October, November, starting to get things rolling there, just thinking about getting the mental in the indoor. And because I generally love the outdoors. I just love the outdoors, but there's dangers with all of that. So I really have to mentally get myself there, indoors. And I love hearing you talk about how a lot of your training is indoors. It's more effective for what you do, and it's safer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now you can find indoor riding. I'm not talking about only, obviously spin classes are a level of indoor riding, but if you're talking about specific training, there is groups. I think Hunter, you ran one, right? A cycling group that is doing indoor training, and when you ride with other people, it's a different level of motivation, right? It's like the one moment that is crucial, right? That you are, whether or not I'm gonna push that extra pedal stroke, I am about to brake, but when you are in a room of people, of course you're gonna do it. Right. So those are the things that riding in a group bring to a much better environment to get the best workout.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
When I trained back in San Diego, it would be sometimes 50 of us in the front yard in the house of our coach, and we would all be in sync. It was the space was so tight, and there was an exercise that we had to do it one-legged. They call it ILT, isolated leg training, and this is for strength work. And we had to be in sync on which leg we do first, the right or the left, because otherwise things will be a little bit kind of like too close to the next rider. So everybody had to start with one leg, and then we switch to the next one. And, it makes it fun that way too.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's good. I got to do more of that. What is that? ILT? What?
ILT is isolated leg training.
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah.
I've heard them called single leg drills. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, single leg drills, but this one in particular, I mean, when you say single leg drills, it could be strength, leg speed. This one in particular is strength. So you have the biggest gear that you can hold at 60 RPM for 3 minutes.
Oh.
Okay, that's a lot different than what I know.
Yes, so that one is definitely, you're not gonna get your heart rate super high in the beginning. As you get better, yes, heart rate will be compromised too, but in the beginning is all about strength. And it's also the neuromuscular, because when your muscles talk to your brain, and then you start getting the clunking, you're not doing the circle, then that's when okay. And then when it starts getting more in a circle, you realize you are improving. You are getting a little smoother, and your brain is talking to your muscle a little bit better in the same language, in a way of saying it.
Wow. 3 minutes?
3 minutes per leg, 3 times.
Ooh. Feel the burn.
Don't go and do it. That is a build-up progress to get.
Oh, that's great.
So,
yeah, that's great. I have a little goal now. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, we do like over gearing workouts sometimes with my coach, but it's always like 2-legged. I think it's the similar concept except with the 2 legs. But yeah, I'm gonna be curious. I'm gonna try it one leg this one.
Yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try it, definitely.
I've done 2 legs, but not in the indoor trainer. I done it on climbing, purposely putting a big gear in a low cadence, right? And alternating standing and sitting, alternating, each one climb, 15-minute climb, for example. This is back in California. Easier to find them there. one climb in standing, the next one sitting, same gear.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we had Meg Pennington on a few weeks ago. She did gravel, and she was talking about how, or not Meg, it was her friend. We're drawing a blank on the name, but they both have the same coach, and they were talking about they do like standing climbs, and that's something like as triathletes we rarely do. Like I only do it a little because I watch what Spencer does, and then I'll do the same thing up the hill. But for the gravel, they have like, they'll get out of the saddle for 3 to 5 minutes and do a climb. And I'm like, it's something that in my program, I don't ever think about. But when you get into like gravel or mountain biking, it's very helpful. And they were saying too, like, especially at like an age group level, how you can tell people that have practiced that are not, because they'll just like bomb by people on some of these like steep hills. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about how much more energy or how much more your legs burn, if you want to say it in a simple way, when you're standing. So if you don't practice in that situation, then it's not going to feel really good in a race.
yeah, exactly.
So absolutely.
Cool. So your program now where you're, helping people learn to mountain bike, can you tell us like a little bit about that and, kind of what like a typical, is it like a lesson? Is it like a multi-week program or?
Yeah, no, it basically is a lesson that is done in Killington. Killington Bike Park is a gravity-oriented mountain biking park. So basically you take the chair up and then you go down the hill with these bicycles with double suspension, full suspension, I should say. And what I do is sometimes we get people who have never ridden a mountain bike, so we do the lesson that is called Learn to Ride. So this is really a lesson, like a ski lesson that you do in the ski center, same thing on a bike. So Learn to Ride, or if they want something more specific, sometimes they ask and want to say, I want to work, this is somebody that has a good amount of experience and they come with a specific question of, I want to work on my line choice, or I want to work on jumping, or I want to work on berms, I want to work on wheelies. So things like that, they do come with a specific need that they want, or just, I want to learn, I want to get better. So you can do an assessment and you get an idea. Most of the time, they all come with the same, very close, similar questions. So we do have a class format per se already set, and it works pretty well with most everybody. We just change a few items to make it a little bit more custom made for whoever needs something different. It's super fun, and sometimes we get families, and I love when sometimes the kids, are much better riders than the parents, and then, you try to bring them a little closer together, and it's a great experience for everybody, and I have a great time. I really enjoy it.
Oh, how long does it go on? This is in Killington, and you go up on the ski lift and then you ride your mountain bike down the mountain?
Yes.
That kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. You described it just to
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, and they have different level trails. So if you say, well, it's my first time, we're not gonna send you down on the black trails. We're gonna give you, a progressive plan. So where
that's what I would
start and what is next and how to get there. So you start on green, blues, and blacks. And the bike park stays open until the end of October.
Okay.
And it's open every day.
Road trip.
Let's go. Let's go.
And the colors are starting to pop already. So if you do go, you must make a point to take the gondola, because you're going to get up at the top a 360 view, especially if it's a clear day.
Nice. Yeah, Women on Wheels trip.
I know. There's so many things I want to do. I just need to stop racing triathlon until the end of October.
There is a group in Killington that is called Divas, and it's only ladies. And tomorrow night is the last day. That's where I'm going tomorrow. Tomorrow today's Wednesday, Thursday, tomorrow, Thursday night, I'm driving up because Friday at 3 p.m. is the last Divas group ride for the season, but it's usually anybody, any lady, you just have to sign up. It's free to sign up for the group. You just have to have your own bike or rent one, and you have to have your ticket or your season's pass, obviously. But doing this group ride is awesome because, you know, obviously we all know that sometimes riding with guys is not, how do I say it the right way? It's not the best for learning or the most encouraging. You know, they just said, follow me. And they do whatever they do. And then you are like, so what was that? So here it's completely different. It's super supportive, all kinds of different levels, no matter where you are. So check it out for next year because it's an awesome group.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I've like gone legit downhilling once with Dabney. We went to Powder Ridge. So maybe that's something else. We can recruit Jimena and Dabney to come to Powder Ridge with us.
It's so much fun. I have to admit, I'm starting to have second thoughts now because I actually just sold my downhill bike about a year ago because I hadn't ridden in about 3 years.
Well, yeah, it's not as such thing as saying I have too many bikes. You know, it's so many different ways or places to ride, and there is always the perfect ride for that, a bike for that type of riding. So yeah, one more.
I need one
You do
more.
have to have a full face helmet though. That's mandatory.
Absolutely.
Full face.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Yeah, maybe we can go next year one weekend and check it out. Be
Make it
fun.
happen. We can make it happen.
All right.
Like fun.
Another question I had, Jimena, is like, where kind of in Connecticut, New England, do you enjoy riding? Like, what are some places we can put on our bucket list besides Killington?
Oh yeah, to ride mountain bikes.
Yeah, just
So-
like, I'm sure you've got a favorite trail in Connecticut, and then even like Vermont, New
Oh,
Hampshire, places
I
like
think you
that.
froze.
I think she froze.
I think she
There you
froze.
are.
Oh, okay now. You're good.
So you were saying you were gonna show something?
Oh no, I was just asking like can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had like a favorite place to ride in Connecticut or even like New England, like what are some of your favorite trails?
Yeah. So I explored quite a bit of Connecticut. I haven't explored much outside of Connecticut other than Killington area, but I love a place here near Burlington. It's called Burr Pond in Torrington. It's a techie trail. It has uphill, quite a bit of uphill. It's not super beyond people's head technical. It's very much a high cross-country technical riding with a lot of climbing. And that to me is what I love the most. Technical climbing is for me the most fun of all types of trail riding. But other places that I love is a place, I don't remember what town it is, but I'm sure you heard of Rockland. Rockland is super fun and so much to explore. It even has a pump track. Have anybody heard what a pump track is? Yeah. So a pump track it looks like, in the eyesight, it looks like a BMX track. For if you've never seen a pump track, it's a BMX track. It's not really a BMX track, but it's a loop that is enclosed, and it has ups and down rollers, and it might have a little jump too, but you don't have to jump it. And what it is that it forces you to work on your rolling, everything on the timing of rolling the bicycle without pedaling. So if you get to do several loops without having to pedal, you know that your timing of the pulling and the rolling is perfect. If your timing is off, you're gonna have to pedal. And what I'm going with this is that going to a pump track, it helps you tremendously in a lot of the basics of mountain biking. So it helps with all the timing, which is sometimes very hard to judge yourself when you're riding, because you're not watching yourself. But in a pump track, you can feel it if you are off in your timing. So Rockland has that, which is awesome. Not too many places have pump tracks. But then I love the fact that also it has, maps everywhere. It is very hard to get lost, although it is like lots of things interconnecting, but it's very hard to get lost. So those are two of my top places to ride. But I live in Burlington, so I ride here in Burlington all the time.
Gonna have to check out Bear Pond now.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know, and I give you a tour.
Yeah, for real. We don't ever like leave Glastonbury because we drive like 10 minutes to the trail and it's just easy.
Which one do you ride?
We park at Coop Road and just do like Case pretty much.
Yeah. Case is really fun. I really like Case too. But
yeah, and it's like we know it.
Case
It's
much.
10 minutes from the house. Like it's just easy.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So cool. All right. I guess my last question, and then we can open it up for everyone, is do you just have any tips for someone like wanting to get into mountain biking? Any good basic bits of advice that you have?
Yeah, I mean, basically go and explore. It is, and then don't worry too much about what bike you have. Just go and explore. And there is not the one perfect bike for all trails. So you're going to be in a trail that maybe you have more bike than you need, and then you're gonna be on a trail that maybe you should have a little more bike, but it doesn't matter. If that's the case, just you go a little slower, and so what, right? And also getting off and walk is part of mountain biking. So there is no shame for getting off and walk a section. It takes a lot. It takes a big confident person to get off and walk. Let's say it that way. And then one thing that I wish somebody told me once before when I started racing is that I used to get really nervous before my races, and then until I started learning to separate the nervousness from real being nervous for what they are known, and nervous for excitement, and trying to realize which one is which one, and which one is because the being nervous for the race is gonna take away a lot of your energy. So try to think of something positive, that it really doesn't matter, right? It's a race. Nothing in your life is going to change. I always told myself, whether I do well or bad, my family is gonna still be there. I'm gonna still have my friends, and my team is gonna still be there. So nothing will really change, right? Of course I wanna do well, but if it's not my day, it's not my day. And then being excited for that start, it will give you that edge of having everything ready to go at the moment that you need it. But the important thing is trying to realize which one of the nervousness or the stress is bothering you the most, and try to manage it. Because if it's the one that makes you nervous about the unknown, that one is very draining. So if you can manage that one, it's gonna be much better off.
I love it.
I don't know if that was more than what people ask, but that is something that I wish someone told me once about managing the stress at the start of a race.
Yeah, no, I like that concept. That's awesome. And I like that you said it's okay to get off and walk. I tell people that all the time. And I'm like, who cares? And then it gives you like a goal, right? Like, oh, I got to like the next tree this time, or I got to like, it's like a little fun to like measure your progress like that. But It's like you talk to anyone, people walk. Or I even say that in triathlon. Like you watch some of these live streams and pros are walking through the water stations. Like it's okay to like stop and walk and slow down.
And in a race, sometimes walking is faster overall.
Yeah.
Because you save energy rather than going something super steep or, you know, potentially crashing. So
For sure. That's why I love watching some of like the live feeds or like the YouTube race after, if you can get it, just seeing what the pros do and the lines they pick or like how they just choose things. It's cool. And it's sometimes it's just like reassuring that it's like they go through this stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What other questions do we have?
Just a sec, I do have a question. Hey, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, so speaking of like picking the line, right? And walking and all that, I wanted, maybe if you could talk a little bit about clips and flats. So when I got my mountain bike, I started with clips, but I was just brand new. So I would go on some little, you know, trail rides or whatever. But I had that fear of my foot is clipped and I can't get my foot out fast enough to make that turn or put my foot down fast enough or something like that. And I made the decision to switch over to flats. And once I had made that decision in my beginning, you know, getting experience, it was like a game changer for me. It gave me just boost of confidence. Like I could put my foot down really fast.
Yeah.
But now I'm finding I flip back to my clips again. So just doing the mountain bike for a year or two or something. Maybe I've built a little bit more confidence in that. So maybe if you could just talk a little bit about that. I know that clips, you get more power, right? To really like find that line, climb those climbs kind of thing. The clips are just, you get more power with them, I guess.
Well, it depends. It depends if are you racing or you're riding for
I haven't really raced mountain bikes yet, my mountain bike yet, but it's something I would consider, you know, in the future for sure. And I just feel like so far I feel like I would have more power or more control, I guess, with the clip. But I think it's a little bit of a fear factor, just personally with me, like, oh, I can't get my foot out fast enough, I'm gonna fall over.
Yeah,
something like that.
Absolutely. So you're not the only one. I have ridden what we call clipless pedals for all my riding career, riding and racing. And I recently, when I started working at Killington, they told me, oh, but you need to teach on flats. So I was like, what? I need to relearn how to ride on flats. I have never ridden flats. So I was a little skeptical, to be honest with you. But then I realized the benefits and how something is good for one type of riding, better for one type of riding, and the other one is better for a different type of riding. And there's something obviously in between. So flats are great for downhill and super technical because of the same reason that you said. You have the ability to move your foot freely within that pedal and also put the foot down if you need to. There are techniques on a downhill situation where you will not lose the contact. Losing contact with a flat pedal is one of the scariest things that can happen when you're bombing down the hill. If your foot comes off, that will not happen when you are engaged on a clipless pedal. So if you're racing enduro, for example, most of them are connected. Downhillers, when they're racing, many of them are connected. If it's a muddy race, they use flats. In cross country, in most of the riding that we do around us, the reason why I like clipless is because of all the climbing that we do, and you are able to bring your pedal out, back up, connected, so you are pulling up, although you can still do it on a flat, but it's a lot more efficient or easier to do being connected to the pedal. When you are with the flats, it's a lot more freedom of movement, which sometimes is important. If you're in a new trail that you are not super comfortable with, maybe start doing it in a flat. As you learn it more and you get more comfortable with the terrain, you can start using clipless and see how that goes. Sometimes when I am in a terrain that I see something that is starting to make me nervous, and I have the feeling I'm gonna have to put a foot down, I might unclip one. This one is loose, but it's still pressing on the pedal, just to be ready to put the foot down. Sometimes I do that, but it's not ideal. It's not to do pedal strokes in that situation. This is your coasting situation. I unclip just to have the 1 foot off, just in case. And then if I didn't need it, I clip back in. But do not pedal in a clipless pedal being unengaged. Did that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that is, you can slip very easily from
Right.
that pedal, and then that we have other kinds of problems.
Right.
But the flat pedal, I really, really like in downhill.
Okay.
When climbing up is really not part of the equation. I really like. So you are flat, 1 foot in front of the other. And then let's see if I can do it here. And then if the bicycle is, going up and down, you're going to put what we call the wedge. Front foot, low heel, back foot, high heel, in respect of the axle of the pedal, right? So when you press against those two pedals, that is immediate connection between you and the bicycle, and the bike is not going anywhere.
All right. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
The
Yeah.
other thing I would add with flats is I've never been to like a mountain bike like skills camp, but Amanda went to one once, and they, for the camp to do skills, they wanted you on flats just because it could help with like your technique more, whereas like clip-ins you can like fudge it a little. What I do. So that was just like one thing that she had said, that she was like nervous about going to the flats because she never had, but in the end of like the camp it was really helpful.
Yeah, same thing, exactly.
Yeah. I think, well, I did go to one of your sessions, Jimena, at Winding Trails.
Oh, you did?
I did. One time I did. And I'm trying to think if I had the clips or the flats at that point in time. I can't remember. It was a few years ago. So, but that was my first skills clinic of the demo day, and I enjoyed it. So I hope there's.
Nice. Oh yeah, I remember that. It was with Trek Bikes Newington.
Yes,
was
yeah.
yes, had a demo day in there before the day before one of the mountain bike races.
Yeah, that was fun.
That like April
enjoyed it.
race, right? That's what it was, like an April race.
Yes.
I think a spring one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was excellent. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope there's more. Be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we are going to do some stuff like that at the Trek store. Once that COVID allows it.
Yeah, that's great.
Darn COVID, we lost all like 2 summers pretty much of doing demos and stuff.
I know.
Yep.
It's too bad.
Yep. That's good.
All right. That was a good question, Christine. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Where is everybody from? I would like to know, where is everybody from? Or where are you at now?
I'm in Hebron.
Newington. I'm not very far from Trek. I love Trek.
I'm in Rocky Hill.
Bloomfield. I'm in Windsor.
I kind of have a girl question. Do you wear padded bike shorts for mountain biking like you do when I ride my road bike, or do you not? Because I see a lot of bikes for shorts for sale that don't have any padding for mountain biking.
No, yeah, you want chamois on your butt when you ride
Okay.
mountain bikes. Maybe what you see are baggy shorts that from the outside they look just like regular shorts, but inside they should have the padded shorts.
That's what I thought. I was like, my goodness, to me that seems like it hurt, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think if they're not
however-
like integrated in the short, you get a liner.
okay.
Like you can
Yeah,
get
all right.
a separate piece.
downhillers, if you are looking at downhill specific shorts, they might not have them because in downhill you barely sit. In downhill,
Okay, maybe that
you
makes
are-
sense. Maybe the
Yeah, if you saw downhill shorts will not have padding.
okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's so interesting. I didn't realize that. You don't sit.
no, you don't sit. You are standing on the bike. I mean, if you sit, you're limiting how the bicycle will move underneath you. And the bicycle will react to what the terrain, or you are going to make the bicycle react to or adapt to the terrain. And to do that, if you're sitting, you're limiting how far the bicycle is bouncing up and down.
Do you lean forward more when you're going downhill, or is that you're always
In the-
adjusting? You're always
Yeah,
adjusting.
you're always, it's a constant adjustment
So
of,
you're using a lot of arms, shoulders, a lot of strength in your arms, I guess, too, with all of
Yes.
that.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So like strength training would be a really good idea for.
Yeah, I mean, and the downhill bikes, they're also a little heavier, quite a bit heavier than a cross country or a trail bike. And you need to be able to maneuver that bike underneath you. So
Yeah.
some of these bikes are a little bit heavy and they're a little harder to be able to maneuver because of the weight. So they definitely having a little bit of an upper body strength and your core being stronger, it will definitely help with that.
Perfect winter training. Winter time. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all the time, but I mean, that's just one of those things in the winter that's really good to kind of work on.
Yeah, absolutely. You have the time indoors, and it's usually during any training program, like I said before, is what you do in the beginning of a big plan of like a year plan.
Yep.
The weights is in the beginning of that. It's kind of like the base. If you think about a triangle, you need a big base to have a high peak. So if you have a little base, your peak will be here. But if you get a big base, your peak will be over here.
Good.
Awesome. Any other questions? We're just about at the top of the hour.
We just need to go ride.
I know.
Yes.
I know, for real. For real. Yeah, we got to get some fall things organized. I know Jess is like super busy in October, and I'm still, my last race is October 30th, but November, I'm hoping to do some more mountain biking and things like that. The snow can stay away, and I'm just going to mountain bike.
Even if it snows, I mean, there is no bad weather. It's just bad clothing choices.
Exactly. I know I'm ready for the shop. I mean, any day now, we got to be getting our fall and winter clothes. Some people have been coming in and asking. We still have like short sleeve jerseys up there. I'm like, this should be coming.
Mallory was working a little bit on that today.
Perfect. Yeah, and like the gloves too. Like even like days like today, it's 60 degrees out. I had my nice light long sleeve, and I needed some little gloves on. I didn't think.
Definitely.
Haven't completely transitioned to the fall yet.
Lobster gloves I think I need to get a pair of those. Aren't those good? The lobster gloves Yeah,
definitely. They help you to keep when you separate, they get colder. So if you keep them together, they stay warmer.
Yeah.
I know.
I could do that.
Really like them.
Yeah, I gotta get a pair of them for sure. This year, this season, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think once you have the gear, I mean, it's definitely an investment to get, like,
It
you know,
is.
the pants, the shoes, the jacket, but once you have it, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong. There was one winter, Amanda, Laura, and we rode, I think, like into January. We went a few times a month and we had a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shoes, to me, the shoes was, I mean, I always had winter gloves, but shoes, having a winter pair of booties or boot shoes, riding shoes that they are boot, they are high ankle, made the whole difference to me. Is unbelievable,
Yeah.
the difference. And once that if your feet stay warm, you're going to have a nice ride. If your feet stay cold, it's miserable, to me at least.
Yeah, my whole family has the Jack Frost winter boots, so they're not like as clunky as like the old man winters, which look like a snowboard boot. They're just like a notch down from that, and we all really enjoy them and ride. Even Spencer rides all year long, and he's got those. So that was like huge. And yeah, they go like, yeah, like kind of like a little as high as your sock goes, almost, pretty much, I think is.
Yeah.
So, and your feet stay pretty dry, so.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, any other questions before we hop off? Thanks everyone for joining. We had a good little group. I know some people had to hop off, but Jimena, thank you so much. We're definitely gonna do more stuff together, especially now that you're at the shop. I'm gonna see you.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
So
Thank you, Jimena. I really enjoyed everything you said. I got a lot out of it, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all
Yeah.
for being here and taking a little time away from your families or dinner time. And I hope that we can ride together in the near future.
for sure. Have fun in
Yeah.
Killington.
Thank
I
you.
will.
All right,
you.
have a good night,
Ladies.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.